Welcome to the webinar on the Teacher Portal Gradebook Operations. In this webinar, we are going to be covering the 5 different operations that are found in the gradebook. They can be found under Gradebook, Gradebook Operations, and here are the 5 operations that we're going to be covering. And we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So the first one we're going to look at is drop lowest scores. This will only apply to a marking period that is open. It does not apply to a closed marking period. So I am in my second quarter right now. So that is the term the marking period that I'm going to select. You need to select up here in your menu bar which course you want to apply this to. I am going to keep it to my Geometry Section 1. And then you need to select the category. Now, regardless of how you have the averaging in your gradebook, whether you have weighted categories or whether it's just total points, you need to have a category. For this course, I have 3 categories. So I have my homework, my lesson plans, and my tests and quizzes. So I'm going to select my homework category, and this will allow me to drop the lowest grade of all of my assignments that are in this category. There is no student selection. This will be applied to all students within this course. There is a little informational button there, so if I click on that, it just gives some information about how to drop the lowest scores. So I am going to process this, and there is an alert message that will display asking you if you're sure you want to drop the lowest scores for the selected category, and it does display the category code, and I'm going to say yes. And let's take a look at our gradebook and see the grades that it was dropped. So if you hover over here, it's going to give, okay, so this is a homework assignment in the homework category. So you can see here that I have some grades that are dropped. This is also a homework category, and you can see here for this student, this was her lowest homework grade, and so that was dropped, and I think everybody else has 25. So you can see that it will take the lowest grade in the category that you select, and it will apply to all of the students in that course and section. All right, let's look at the next operation, and that is create a course announcement. Now, this is a wonderful tool to be able to communicate to your students and your parents. Again, you want to select the course that you want to work with, and I am going to select a different course this time. And I'm going to select my, still stay with geometry, but do my section 4. And I am going to create an announcement. Now, first you want to do is enter in your subject, and my subject is going to be winter break. And you can select an end date for this. So when you create a very timely announcement, say, welcoming the students back to the new school year, or putting out information about parent-teacher conferences or open houses, you can put an expiration date there. That way, when the event has come and gone, you don't have to remember to come back out and delete or remove that announcement. Yeah. So we are going to put an end date. And here we can show either to the parents and or the students. Now, for the most part, when you're setting up the parent and student portals, what access you give to the parent portal, the students get, and vice versa. They are pretty much locked in step the same. But when you do a course announcement, as well as when you do a district announcement, you have the opportunity to do a different announcement or just an announcement to one group and not both. So this is actually, I'm going to do this announcement for both my parents and my students. If I don't select this, then that announcement will also be pulled into the progress reports. So I am a firm believer of communicating in several different venues, so I am going to keep it so it will display in the progress reports. And I have cheated, and I have an announcement already typed in a Word document, so I am going to just copy that right over. There we go. So you saw that pop-up message. It realized that I was copying and pasting from a Word document, and it asked if it wanted to clean the data. So I did say yes, because there are some formatting that will come across that can cause problems, because this is going to be stored in a field in your database. All right, and then all I have to do is create the announcement. So I get the message that a new course announcement has been added to the system. Okay. And if I scroll down here, you can see that I have another course announcement, which is a course syllabus. So once you create the announcement, you can delete it, you can edit it. You can see at a glance the settings here. You can see the subject line. I can see here that there's what the end date is, which group it is allocated for, and then whether we want to include it or exclude it from the progress reports. So let me pull up my other announcement, and so I just clicked on the edit here, and you can see the course syllabus is what this is. So I could modify this. You do have some editing capabilities. You can choose the font. You can choose the font size. You can add bold, italics, underline. You have some formatting keys here. You can add bullet points, number lists. You can add in a hyperlink. So it's not as robust as a word processing tool or program, but it's better than just a straight text. And you can see there is a spell check, which is something I think that should have been just journal. There we go. I need spell check. I am not very good at that. So, all right. And then once you have made your changes, you just click on Save Announcement. So I'm going to log out of my teacher portal and log in as a parent of one of my students from this section. So let me sign out of here. I'm going to switch to my parent portal. And Amy is the student, so I'm going to click on Amy. That's the famous Amy Abatici. And I can see here right at a quick glance that there are 6 course announcements for Amy. If I click on that, and it's going to bring them up, and we want geometry. And here we go. Oh, that was a course that she withdrew from, and we'll see that a little bit later in this webinar. This is the one that I just put up. There we go. And here is the course syllabus one. And once they pass their expiration date, then the parents will no longer see them. at all here in their portal. If I were to log in as Amy to her portal, she would see those announcements that were included for the student portal. Let's go back to my teacher portal. The next operation we're going to see is a very handy tool, but it has a specific limitations, and that is the transfer assignment grades. Now what this will do is it allows you to take a student that transfers between two sections of a course, and those sections each have the same teacher. So for example, if you see my teacher here, he is teaching 3 sections of geometry. So if he had a student transfer between any of these 3 sections, he would be able to take the grades from the assignments that that student has completed in one section and transfer those assignments and grades to the other section. So we actually have a student who fits that criteria for my teacher here is Mr. Stephen Hobble. So I had a student transfer from geometry section 1 to geometry section 4. And when you select those two, MMS is going to go through the database and look for any students that may have transferred between from this list here to a course that is in this list here. And that is, again, Amy Abatici. So I'm going to select her. Now the students need to be withdrawn and not dropped. So if you drop the course, so there's no record of it, then this operation will not work. You need to withdraw the students and give them a withdrawn flag, so that the grade flag will be a WG and that they will have an exit date. Not all schools withdraw their students, they just drop them, which would be deleting the course. So we're going to click on next, and it's going to bring us to the next tab. And between these two courses, I have several similar assignments, and I also have some that are different. And what MMS does is it takes the category and the term and will try to match up the assignments. So this is from the original class, and then this is from the class that she is moving to. Now I can change this, so it matched the test sample with the test sample of the new course that the student is in, and so it matched things up fairly well. You can see here that this section of my class had an extra credit homework assignment, but this one did not. Oh, yes, it did. Extra credit homework. All right, so MMS found that for whatever reason, it didn't move that over. So I can put a 10 there, and it will take any grades that Amy had for this assignment and move them to this assignment for the other section. So you can go through and move whichever grades you want. You do have an option up here to transfer how you want to transfer the grades. You can choose not to overwrite any pre-assigned grades in the current class, which is these assignments here, or you can choose to override. Now, ideally, this operation would be done right after the student transferred sections, so the chances of them having any pre-assigned grades in the current class is probably not likely. But I am going to say override because I know my student has just moved over, and these are the most current grades for her. So, and then you're going to click on transfer grades, and there we go. I didn't do a before and after of Amy for the purposes of this, but those grades did get transferred over. The next operation we're going to look at is the copy assignments from another year or term. Now this operation is, it's awesome, is what it is. What it allows you to do is take those assignments that you create. So for all the assignments that you create for your course or courses over the course of a year, if you're teaching that same course the next year, a lot of those assignments you will be able to use again. So this operation allows you to copy those assignments to the new school year. It doesn't do a full year at a time, so you do need to do one term at a time. You do want to be in the current school year that you want to move the assignments to. So this will have to wait until the new school year is up and running for you, and that can happen anytime during the summer to do it in advance of the current school year. Say I'm in my 16-17 school year, and if my 17-18 school year is up and running for scheduling purposes, but it's still the current school year of 16-17, you're going to have to wait until the current school year in the database is the 17-18 school year before you can come in here and do this operation. All right, so I am going to select the school year that I want to copy the assignments from, and in this case it's going to be my 14-15 school year, and we need to pick only one class. You can see again that I have my 4 geometry classes, but I can only copy from one geometry class. So I'll pick the one that's the most complete of what I want to copy over, and we'll go with the first section. And then we need to select the marking period. So now remember, this is coming from our 14-15 school year, our older school year, and we're going to start with Q2. Next. And then we are going to select the course or courses we want to copy those assignments to. Now, in this case, we can select all of our geometry classes. That way, all of those assignments will be pulled into my new school year. And that is going to go to the second quarter again. And we are going to click on next. And here we get a preview of what is getting moved over. Now, if there was something that you created, say for example, an extra credit assignment, maybe this, maybe I don't normally do a pop quiz, so I'm not going to select that assignment to move over. So you have the ability to eliminate any assignments that you may not want to carry over. If you have standards or skills associated, you can choose to include those same standards or skills linked to the original assignments. If you have the ability to add attachments to assignments, you can choose to include those attachments to the new assignments that you're moving over. And you also are able to roll the assigned due dates forward. Now this is coming from my 14-15 school year, and I did try to double my 365. I was not able to do that. 365 is the maximum amount that you are allowed to add to all of your assigned and due dates. And even if you're rolling it from the previous school year to the current school year, the just adding a 365 is probably not going to land you on the exact date that the assignment is going to be assigned or due. It could be that a date will fall on a Saturday or Sunday. So, but it gets you close to where it's going to land, at least in the right school year. So I did exclude that one assignment, that pop quiz, and you can see the category. Now I have a category of homework, and then there's a category of TQ and LP that are in red. Now that signifies to me that there is a problem there. So, and we'll see that in the next screen. So for those, so now we get to do a final edit. So we can change the assignment name, we can change the description, the category, marking period we cannot. We can adjust the assigned date and due date. So if you happen to know when things will be assigned, you know, have a calendar in front of you, and you can make those adjustments or wait until it gets closer to when they would be assigned. You can change the number of points the assignment is worth, and you probably don't want to publish it yet. So I am going to just, and then it indicates whether standards were attached, and then whether there were any attachments to those specific assignments, and you cannot edit those. It's just they carry over from the previous school year. So there is a final question to ask. So if an assignment already exists with the same date and due date for the selected marking period, do you want to override? So say you run this operation more than once because you wanted to make some changes here really quick, you can choose to override what you have previously installed. So now we're going to copy our assignments, and just a confirm message. Are you ready to copy the selected assignments? Yes, I am. And oh no, we forgot to copy. So I forgot to go back because I did know that we had some category mismatches. So I am going to. There we go. So all my assignments have a category. So it's a really a good idea to make sure that you know what categories you used the previous year. And if they met your needs, then by all means repeat those categories. If you decide that you want to change up your categories, that's fine. MMS will give you the opportunity to select which category the assignment should be going into. So we're going to answer yes. And we do have another warning message that some of the assignments have due dates that fall before the grade open date for the target marking period. And that is fine. That's where I didn't have my calendar and didn't make any adjustments. So that's all right. And then some assignments have categories that are not defined for all of the target classes. Do we wish to copy? Yes. So you really need to make sure that you do your homework and make sure that the grade books are set up as close as possible. All right, and for ones that did not copy over or have problems, you have a report here that you can print off and then go back and correct those assignments. So that's quite nice. The last operation that we're going to look at is the assign remove grade override. Now the assign grade override requires previous setup from the admin portal. Now the override will allow a teacher to go into a term that has been closed, so the marking period is closed, but they still have assignment grades to enter. You cannot create assignments with an override, but you can go in and mark and enter in grades. So this would be an example of if a teacher was out sick and missed that last part of the marking period being open to enter in their last grades, or say a student was out on medical leave and came back in with their made-up assignments, so they could go back in and enter in those missing grades. So the override is given to a teacher as well as the term that the override is for. Once that happens, the teacher can come into this operation. They will select the course that they need to give an override for, and we will stay with our geometry class here, and then select the students that want the override. Now, Vincent has already been given an override, but I'm going to add a couple more students to that, and I'm going to submit my changes. Now, when I submit my changes, I can see that these 3 students have now been given an override for quarter 1. Once that is done, I can go back into my gradebook and the summary grid. And I am going to select my closed term. And here I have a checkbox here, override only. So at any point in time, I can go into a closed term and see the grades that a student received during that term. But in this case, I want to actually change those grades. So when I check that, all I can see is the 3 students that I gave an override for. So I am actually going to put in some grades. Oh, I have standards associated with this. So I'm going to So based on averaging that I had set up in the staff portal, when I enter in a grade for the assignment, it automatically calculates what the standard grade should be based off of the point scored for the assignment. And through the magic of TV, you can see that I have entered in all of the other missing grades for Jared. And you can see now that his quarter average is actually an 88.75, but he is locked into an 82. So once you go in and you enter in the missing assignment grades, you can go to Gradebook, Assign Grades, and not the final grade entry, but Override Past Marking Period Average. And you are going to select the marking period that you have been given an override for, and that for me is quarter 1. And you can see the locked grades that the student has for quarter 1. So when I click on Unlock All and Recalculate, you will see that Jared's grade will change. And it is based on the missing grades that I put in. Now, I didn't do anything with Vincent and Amy, but if I had changed their assignment grades, then I would be able to, when I clicked on that Unlock All and Recalculate, it would have changed their grade. Now, I could lock all grades if I wanted to, but as soon as this override is over with, those grades aren't going to change.